Cheers, brother.
Salud.
Here you go. Josh, cheers.
Salud.
Let's bring it in right here. That's my intro music. What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to another episode of Good Set, Bro. This episode is sponsored by absolutely no one. So we're still looking for sponsors. If you want to, just push a product that's just absolutely amazing that people cannot be without, please hit me up at Good Set, Bro, on Facebook or even on YouTube. Today, very excited. I have a wonderful, wonderful guest. He's actually might be the most interesting man in the world. I don't know yet. It's still up to debate. But please give it up for Mr. Rodriguez. Galvan Rodriguez. He is a psychotherapist, a gypsy, a traveler, and an all-time just... he's out of this fucking world. I think you're an alien. You might be an alien.
I think the definition of alien is just a foreigner.
A foreigner. Speaking of aliens, do you think we are alone?
I think it would be very egotistic to think that we're the only beings in this entire universe, in this entire galaxy. So
I never thought of it that way. Actually, it is pretty egotistical to think that.
Yeah, I don't think we are.
Oh man, so. That's a great way to start this fucking show. So what's up, brother? What you been up to?
Doc school, traveling.
Where's the last place you've been
to? Israel, and I snuck into Palestine, into the West Bank.
You snuck into
it was a little adventure. Yeah. We kind of we didn't sneak in there. We were there, but we were just trying to keep it low because I went with a group of monks, Catholic monastic monks, and
through Israel and then Palestine, you went with Catholic monks?
Yeah. The Brothers of St. John, they're a really cool group of guys, and they got a monastery here in Laredo, Texas. So we went there. We got into a little mix up with some local yokels, and it was an adventure.
Wow. You travel a lot. You've been all over the fucking place. That the other time we were talking, you sneaked out. That's not the first country you sneak out of.
Yeah,
it's not the first country you sneaked out of. India, was it?
A couple places. I used to live in India. I was studying there, and then my visa ran out. Eventually, I had to kind of find my way out because there was the local police. They were just kind of trying to nab me for an expired visa, so I just made my way up through the north into Nepal and landed in Tibet.
In Tibet,
I stayed in a Buddhist monastery.
How did that work? Did you just go up to him and be like, "Hey, I need a place to stay," or was it like those like what are those movies where like the like a Chinese kid stays outside until he gets accepted or something like that? I don't know what movie I'm talking about,
but I mean, if you're familiar with the Dalai Lama, he's basically exiled, and from China, and I'm sure you've seen all those signs, the Free Tibet signs.
Yeah.
So he's in India. He's exiled in India. He's got all these little cluster monasteries all over India. So I met a couple of Buddhist monks there, became pen pals with one of them, wrote to him, and he said, yeah, whenever you want to come in. So I just showed up.
Really?
And I stayed at the Buddhist monastery for a bit, and after a while I just took off.
But to stay there, like did you have to pay in like work or something like that, or how does it work there?
I didn't pay anything. Of course, I made a little donation there. It was in Lhasa, Tibet, and it was they're very friendly people. If you've ever met a Buddhist,
never.
Very friendly people. Stayed there for just meditating, and on the mountainsides of the Himalayas. It was great.
Really? You told me that The other day we were talking that you had to sit down and look at a flower for a whole.
Yeah. So we would get up before the sunrise, and I'd follow this monk. I don't even know how old he was. He
was 1,000.
He was 1,000 years old, and I'd follow him. We trek up the Himalayas. And my only instruction in his broken English was follow the sun. So basically, I would sit facing towards the sunrise, and as the sun was shifting over across the sky, I'd have to adjust myself and follow the sun, and all day long. And in the process, you see beautiful things. You see flowers, actually gravitating towards the sun. You see, you just practice a lot of mindfulness and just fully present, which is one thing I think that's wrong with the USA today. People are just in a constant rush.
I agree.
And all my patients, if anything, that's one of the things that that causes all these anxiety disorders. People are just living in the future, and they're not fully alive in the present.
But well, I have chronic anxiety, and everything you're saying right now, it actually makes a lot of sense to me, because I'm constantly being in the future, because I got so many things, so many projects that I feel like I have to accomplish. I'm a comedian, so I'm constantly traveling. I'm constantly thinking about the next show. I'm constantly thinking set. Why didn't it work? How can I make it better? And I lose sleep because of that shit.
Yeah, I had I spent the majority of my career in New York City. As a novice, one of the first patients I had, she was a black little girl from the Bronx. And she said, yo, in her, little slang or twang or whatever you want to call it. Yo, Mr. Juan, what is depression? What's anxiety? So I didn't know what to say. I was a young clinician, just recent grad. But I think the definition that I mustered up was pretty appropriate. I told her depression is when you live in the past. And anxiety is when you live in the future.
Shit. She
was a real smart little thing. So I asked, smart cookie, she goes, so does that mean we don't have to talk about my past anymore? So then my quick-witted response was, I put emphasis, visit the past. We could visit the past, but not live in the past. Learn from our errors, remember the good old times. Plan for the future. You could visit the future, plan for retirement, plan for your shows, vacations, but not live there completely.
That makes sense.
So there's this one of my favorite psychotherapists. He's a neuropsychiatrist, Dr. Daniel Siegel. He says that, well, he poses to the audience, what is the past and what is the future? Are they real? Well, let me ask you that. What is the past and what is the future? More importantly, is the past and future real?
The past can be real because I lived it. So
is the future real?
Not yet.
Is the future real?
Yes. Well, you know what?
So tonight you have a dinner date with your girl. But what if you, on your way over there, you just crash and die?
That's what I was about to say. So no, it's not guaranteed. It's not real. No, it's not, because you never know what's gonna happen.
So is the past real?
I still think yeah, because it's recorded. Like it's already in my timeline.
But it's already come and gone.
It is gone. Well, shit.
So
Josh is gonna cry. You're gonna make Josh cry. Look at him.
So if the past is not real, and the future is not real because it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
What are they?
Nothing.
Psychologically speaking, they're nothing but mental.
They're like stories, maybe. No.
Mental illusions that people create in their minds, in their psyche. what is an illusion? I mean, think of all these magicians.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's something that appears real, but it's not. So if the past and the future are not real, they're nothing but mental illusions, then what is real?
Now,
The present.
yeah.
So that's what my time in Tibet taught me with these Buddhist monks. It's to be fully present. And if people were to be fully present, there would be no anxiety disorders.
Yeah.
Because people would live in the here and now. There would be no clinical depression of any sort, because people would live in the now.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. But well, I guess it's like a practice. You have to practice to live in the now, don't you think? Because it's easier said than done. I'm pretty sure these Buddhists take lifetimes to get to the place they want to get to.
Oh yeah,
right?
and with the advancement of neuroscience, just so many great neuro researchers. They've gone with Dalai Lama and they've literally.
What is that? What's neuroscience? Like, what's the definitions of it?
It's basically the study of the brain. And the great thing about that is that with the advancement of technology, they've created so many great brain scan machines, SPECT scans, and they've been able to go to people to the Dalai Lama and all his monks and scan their brains.
Yeah.
And compare them to just any regular person. And we now know more about the brain in the past 20, 25 years. We know more about the brain than we have ever known.
Yeah, of course.
In the past 100 more years.
Well, they used to burn people because they thought they were witches.
Or they used to drill holes in their head just to alleviate a headache, in their cranium. So, I mean, things have evolved and it's a good thing. So, and that's how we learn how to heal from disorders such as clinical depression, anxiety disorders.
What made you choose this? What made you go to this field of wanting to know? Is it just the interest of the brain that got you there? Did you know people that were suffering and you wanted to help in some sorts, or what was it that got you there?
The Jewish tradition, it calls people in my field the wounded healers. So from early on, younger experiences, alcoholism in my family, domestic violence, all these crazy things. There was one aunt. She's a social worker here in Laredo, Texas. Her name is Estela Miranda. Mm-hmm. She's great. I respect her a lot. And so she was always intervening in family crises. And so the only thing I knew early on was I just wanted to help people. And somehow I wound up in India, and I started, got into my internship was working at an outpatient mental health clinic for women, and I was just a regular school therapist at a private Catholic school in India. And somehow I just started, it just fell on me. Mm-hmm. I started off as regular social work and then eventually made my way into the psychology field. And yeah, now I do what I do.
Wow. You're very involved, in your past, or I don't know if now. You're Catholic. That's your
yes,
practice,
I'm practicing Catholic.
Practicing Catholic. In psychology, you've also worked with Catholicism and stuff like that, right?
I have my own training institute. It's Holy Family Psychotherapy Training Institute.
Oh, cool.
But we're completely neutral. The name is often misleading, turns away a lot of people, but we're completely neutral as far as religiosity goes. We don't impose that on anybody. But yeah, I've worked with in various cities that I've lived in Boston, New York City. I've worked with the Catholic Church. In different ways.
So you do say, is it hard to well, no, I mean, I guess it's the wrong way to say it, but I was gonna say, is it hard to know so much about the brain and also have a faith, which I mean, basically, there's no actual proof. You know what I mean? I have my faith too. I'm actually practicing Catholic, or I go to the Catholic Church. I'm not as much practicing as I call myself Catholic, but is there is there a hard line between reality and faith, just blind faith?
Right. No, that's a very big misconception. I mean, I think if people were to do their homework a little bit, they, I read. If you go to my office, if you go to my apartment,
I seen your apartment.
Yeah, it's just covered in books. I just love reading. So if people were to delve into the history of just science and religion, specifically Christianity, more specifically Catholicism, people are going to see that faith and reason, religion and science go hand in hand. I mean, the Big Bang Theory. I mean, it was that whole concept was constructed by a Catholic priest. He was one of Albert Einstein's really good friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The whole concept of a university, of the bachelor's, master's, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The people that made that up was the Catholic Church. They're the ones that established a university, higher learning. I know here in the USA that the people that some of the first, I think it was the emergency room, female emergency room doctors were, I think, Catholic nuns.
Oh shit!
So I mean, there's a lot of misconceptions about faith and reason, science, and they just go hand in hand. People just need to do a little bit of their homework.
Yeah, being a psychotherapist, is there a point where, or have you reached a point, like in some forms, that it's like too much knowing of someone's problems, or too much knowing of someone what they're going through? Is there a point, or is there like an exercise that you guys do to try to just clear out the brain of everything that you just intake from everyone else's problems and traumas and stuff like that? Like, does it affect you in a way, or did it used to affect you, or did you just kind of
It's called tequila, brother. No, I'm playing. Tequila is actually alcohol of any sort. It's so toxic to the brain. But anyways, so toxic.
Yeah, we got this beautiful bottle. Oh, tell us a little bit before we go back. Tell us a little about this bottle.
That is probably the best, one of the best tequilas I've ever had. It's $100 bottle, over $100 bottle.
Let's give them a shout out, man. What is it?
It's Gaza
Azul.
Gaza Azul. It's such a smooth tequila. You do not need salt and lime.
Yeah, it's very good actually. It's very sweet. Cheers.
Salud. You just sip it. Salud.
Cheers. To Josh.
To Josh, the producer.
Yeah, it's very good. God, look at that.
So I'm taking.
Oh, it's Clase. I thought it was Clase. It's Clase Azul.
Clase Azul. It's a reposado.
Clase Azul. So Clase Azul, thank you for the delicious tequila. If you want to be a sponsor of the show, just go ahead and reach out to us.
So there's three types of, or I guess three main types of tequila. There's five actually, but there's a blanco, there's a reposado, and the anejo. The blanco is straight out of the refinery. Those are the ones that they use in regular tequilas.
Yeah.
The reposado, I believe it's 2 months to a year, 11, 12 months. They age it in barrels. Mm-hmm. And then the añejo, it's 1 to 3 years.
Then the añejo is probably the best one. And probably this one is probably like $400 bottle.
It's $100 bottle. I can't imagine. They have $400 bottle.
It's a beautiful bottle. That's one of the most beautiful, authentic bottles I've ever seen in my life.
It's fantastic.
So you drink to forget. Now let's get back to it. No, but seriously, like
self-care. What you're talking about is vicarious trauma, secondary trauma. Vicarious trauma. It's basically when I see an average about minimum of 10 patients a day, mm-hmm. and they range from foster kids that have been severely traumatized, abused, severe neglect, severe abuse, physical, sexual abuse. To couples. The last time my administrator checked, I was the only couples and specialized couples and family psychotherapist here in town.
Oh wow.
But yeah, a vicarious trauma. I mean, it's a very real deal. We have to practice self-care. I mean, we have to divorce ourselves from our work. We have to take vacations. We have to meditate. We have to eat healthy. We have to exercise. I mean, yeah, we have to. Otherwise, our brain gets damaged by the things we're exposed to.
Well, yeah, because you're getting all this toxic, you're intaking all this toxic energy and all these stories and stuff like that, and I can imagine, man. I watch a documentary of some bad stuff, and it stays with me like all night, and I can't sleep and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And that's probably what how I imagine it being a psychotherapist.
Well, in between every patient, I
take a shot.
I take a shot. No, I can't drink during hours, but no, but I do practice a lot of mindfulness techniques, diaphragmatic breathing, which is something that I learned with the Buddhist monks. It's basically, breathing with your diaphragm.
Like kind of hyperventilating yourself. Is that it?
Well,
no, it's because there's this Brazilian jiu-jitsu legend named Rickson Gracie. And he used to do these like diaphragm breath, and then he would like sink in his stomach and make it go like weirdly, but he would like hyperventilate himself, like not in a deadly way or anything like that. Or it's not deadly, but I don't know. He would do these diaphragm breaths too. And he was just a monster when it came to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, no, it's... they did it, again, going back to the Buddhist monks, they've done so many... One of the things that they found with the Buddhist monks is that the this part of the brain, the middle prefrontal cortex of the brain, it was abnormally enlarged. And what's the big deal about that? Well, you need to know what this part of the brain does, the part behind the eyeballs. In essence, what it does is it's the executive function of the brain. It has 9 functions, but if I could sum them up, maybe it'd be empathy, peace, and joy. And I'm not talking about happiness, having fun, being excited. It's joy, which, I don't know, if I had to give a definition, it'd be a blend of happiness and peace combined. Okay, yeah, so, that's a great, actually. Yeah.
So, so just by the monks, they do 2 main things. They meditate, and they do this diaphragmatic breathing, which increases the rush of oxygen to the brain. So that's what I do in between sessions. I literally turn off the lights I dim the lights in my office, and I just take 10 breaths, and I welcome the next patient in. Why? Because I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair if I'm with patient B, but my mind is still with patient A. I mean, I'm not being fully present with patient B. So I have to, in a sense, put mental boundaries between me and patient B and patient A, so I could be with patient B.
Oh, I see.
There's this, so
kind of like Etch-a-Sketch, just erase the board a little bit, and then let's figure out this other guy.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, cool. Now, Josh here, my producer, he has a podcast called Aliens on Bird. He's fascinated with paranormal activity and possession and all that stuff. And we don't have to talk about it, but I know you've worked with people who could have possibly been possessed or anything like that. Is there anything you can say about that? Yeah, I know you can't talk much about it if you don't want to, but I know you go ahead and take another swig of that and just pour it up. And but yeah, man, what can you tell us anything about that?
Minimal.
We'll take it.
So I want to say it was about 3 years ago
Mm-hmm.
that me and this, I'm not sure if he'll appreciate. No, I could mention this. So the vicar general for the Roman Catholic Diocese of Laredo, his name is Father Anthony Mendoza. He's a really good friend of mine. He's crazy guy, crazy priest in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
He's a mountain biker. He's plays racquetball. I want to say
He sounds cool.
he's awesome. He's just probably one of the coolest priests I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him on a mountain biking trip, and
Where was this mountain biking trip at?
it was if you're people from Laredo, Texas, USA. Excuse me. People in Laredo, Texas, USA. There's this there's this ranch called Morales Ranch. It's
Here in Laredo?
Here in Laredo, it's off of Mines Road, just
Cool.
northeast of La Bota Ranch, and it's just crazy. It's a crazy, crazy trail. I mean, take some tweezers because you're gonna be pulling out some espinas from all the cactus that you just
Oh, okay.
fall
So
into.
don't go. Okay. Cool, man.
So Father Anthony is cool. Anyway, lost my train of thought. So yes, so Father Anthony and I, we presented a talk to at a psychology conference at La Posada Hotel several years ago, about 4 years ago maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It was on schizophrenia. It was on schizophrenia, and what Father Anthony and I found in our discussions was that a person who struggles with schizophrenia, the symptoms of it,
Mm-hmm.
looks no differently than a person who's possessed. What are the symptoms of schizophrenia?
Voices.
Yeah, I mean
Irrationality.
Yeah. So there's they got split personalities. You know, you're Aaron, but at the same time you hear voices and all of a sudden you're King Henry VIII or something like that. And people with schizophrenia, if you've worked with them, they're very obsessed with sexuality. They masturbate a lot. There's always this. They run around naked in psychiatric hospitals and things like that. Extreme cases.
Well, if I can interject real quick. My brother's schizophrenic, and he now it's a little bit under control because he's on some pretty decent meds, right? But he had all those symptoms. He had the masturbation thing. I think when they took him to the psych ward, like he was just naked at one point.
Yeah.
He told my mom one time, he was like, I feel like masturbating. But he told her, like, he didn't do it. He just told her, and my mom was like, okay, well, go to your room. And because we didn't know how to handle it at the time.
Yeah.
We thought that because he got bullied at some point, and he attacked a person one time, but because he was getting bullied. So he responded in this way, and we were like, what's wrong with him? Maybe after that trauma, we thought that maybe it was that trauma that's why he's acting irrational. But no, something happened, and he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Luckily now, like I'm saying, because schizophrenics, they need meds. Like because it really did help him. Like now we have him back. He's not 100%, but we have him back in a way. Like we were doing exercise with him. We keep him busy. You know, he got into motorcycles and like taking them apart and putting them back apart. So that's what he's focusing on now.
Right. Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned the aggro part of it. I mean, another symptom of schizophrenics, there's this the aggression of it all. So I think the three staple symptoms are that their mind is split, the split personality. There's this abnormal, very aggressive, and this obsession with nudity, hypersexuality. So I basically presented this overview of schizophrenia at this psychology conference. Then comes Father Anthony. He basically outline the symptoms, symptomatology of someone who's
Possession.
possessed. And he started off, reading a Bible scripture of when Jesus encountered a possessed man in the land of the Gerasenes, which I got to see in my recent trip to the
Israel. No.
Palestine. Yeah,
Palestine, okay.
Israel. So I think it was in the Palestine side or Jordan side. Anyhow, and what does a possessed person look like?
Mm-hmm.
They
keep in mind this was a psychologist conference, correct?
Psychology conference, yes. So it was kind of pushing it to the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine,
because these are people with rational thinking, like, well, who invited this guy?
Who invited this guy, this
okay.
man in black with a white little collar?
Cool. Okay.
So then you could imagine the audience.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I was very impressed, and I think if you've been to any psychology conferences, there's so many different conferences going on at the same time.
Okay.
You get the brochure before time, and so you see who the speakers are. So our talk was filled to capacity. I mean, I think because of Father Anthony's presence, there was just so many people there wanting to know.
Curiosity.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
wanting to know what this was Catholic priest doing at some Catholic psychology conference. So anyway, the symptoms of a possessed person. He reads off the Bible, of scriptures. And in the Bible, you could see how there's this one, the dude that was possessed. He had this split personality.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was, Jesus the Christ asked him, what's your name? And the possessed dude asked him, we are Legion. I mean, if you know anything about history,
yeah.
Legion is basically
an army of like demons or something, or like
10,000 soldiers in the Roman army or something like that.
Okay.
So what was this possessed guy saying? He was basically saying that, there was like 10 different demons inside of him. I mean, again, going back to schizophrenia, split personality.
Yeah.
The mind is not at peace. It's split. So then Father Anthony keeps reading scripture, and he goes, how this man was so strong. He could not even be bound by chains. Like he just broke all these chains. And again, going back to your brother, going back to, schizophrenics, they don't know their own strength. I mean, they're very aggressive. I relocated to Boston specifically to work with a chronic mentally ill population in the early 80s or latter 70s when Ronald Reagan, when he opened the floodgates to all the psychiatric hospitals. Most of them were in the Northeast and New England and Boston, and so they're all roaming the streets. So, and I saw that all these schizophrenics were people that struggle with schizophrenia. They struggle with these abnormal strength. They're very aggressive when they're off their meds.
Mm-hmm.
And the last symptom, and Father Anthony kept reading, and this dude in the Bible, he basically was running around naked, causing a scandal against the local village at the time.
Yeah.
So ultimately, Jesus Christ, he expelled all these spirits. They went into all the pigs, and they went over the mountain, and they drowned in the river or something. So typical that Exorcist movie, the priest gets possessed, he jumps out the window, and he dies.
Oh, okay. So in the Bible, it says that they extracted the demons and they put it in pigs.
And in the swine, and then the pigs.
They kind of killed themselves, basically.
Yeah, just like the Exorcist. In the movie.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. So in this conference, Father Anthony make this correlation, this link between a schizophrenic and a possessed person.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just throwing the hypotheses out there that what if schizophrenia is not just a neurobiological disorder? What if it could also be something spiritual?
That's pretty bold to say at a
It,
conference.
it was pretty bold to say it. We got a lot of negative reactions, if you will.
Yeah, of course.
But at the end of the day, what we prescribe to the practitioners there, the psychologists, the psychiatrists, the psychotherapists there, was we need to not only treat these patients with psychotropic medications and psychotherapy, but we also need to treat them religiously, spiritually. You know, we need to encourage the families to pray to their God or gods, whatever they're into, you know, to heal their brother, for example.
Wow, yeah.
So yes, I've worked with a lot of I've seen pretty funky stuff along the years.
Wow. That's I don't know. It's like I said, I've never obviously experienced anything. Like I said, I'm very rational too. Like when it happened to my brother, not the first thing I thought was like, oh, he's possessed. That's not the first thing that someone thinks. First thing is like, he's sick. Like he's sick and he needs help. You know what I mean? So, and that's crazy. That's a crazy thing for a priest to go to a psychological.
There's a movie by Anthony Hopkins. In my opinion, from what I've seen, it's the most accurate depiction.
The Right?
It's The Right.
Okay,
it is The Right. It's very accurate.
Really?
It follows a young priest. He's basically trying to bum off the Catholic Church to pay for his higher education, and his dad is driving him nuts. I think he's a mortician, the father.
The Right, it's called. You seen it, Jeff?
Yeah, it's a fucking good movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
Huh? I need to see it.
So, but it's very accurate.
Okay.
It's very accurate. It shows a couple of possessions. The Roman Catholic Church's lead exorcist.
Let's try not to hit the table too much in the
sure,
stuff.
sorry about that.
I can hear it on the thing. Sorry.
So Father Amaranth, he was the lead exorcist in Rome, and that movie really depicted accurately what an exorcist looks like. Exorcism looks like.
So, do you believe in the supernatural? Like you being a psychologist, do you believe in the supernatural? Do you think there's roaming spirits? You know, and
I do, and I've seen certain things.
Really?
I had this patient in
Now,
Boston.
for the record, you've never done like hard drugs or anything like that. Like you just, you drink.
No, I've never done drugs in my entire life.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's a
valid question. I've never done drugs in my entire life. I started. I'm 37 years old. I started drinking when I was 25.
Oh wow.
Very late in life. And yes. So yeah, we could rule that out.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I wanted to just kind of throw that out there. That you never done like hard drugs or anything like that. But you like you said you've seen stuff, and that's what makes it a little bit more I guess
authentic.
Yeah, authentic. Like what kind of things are you talking about here that you've seen?
So, I'm mindful of HIPAA laws, so I gotta.
What is that?
HIPAA, the health insurance portability. It's basic. It's
protecting health information.
Protecting health information for my patients.
Oh,
and things like that.
Okay.
And I have a lot of contracts with a lot of providers, like Border Patrol, the Catholic Church, and ICE, FBI. I have a lot of contracts. So I had a patient in Boston one time, and of course, in Boston was really, well, actually it was in New York City, where I got trained to work with certain populations, like the possessions and everything. And just to, the great thing that I love about the Catholic Church is that they could be very they're rational. They wanna, before they actually perform an exorcism on someone, they have to rule it out. What if it's something medical in nature? What if it's something psychological in nature, like schizophrenia? You know, because again, as schizophrenia patient can resemble someone who's possessed,
Yeah.
and vice versa. Someone who's possessed could resemble a schizophrenic patient.
Yeah.
So the devil does not like certain artifacts, if you will. The cross, specifically the crucifix.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're into religion, there's a difference between the cross and the crucifix. Catholics, they embrace both the cross without Jesus on it, and as well as the crucifix with a crucified Christ on it. Protestants, they don't want anything to do with the crucifix.
Yeah.
So the devil can't stand the crucifix. The devil can't stand holy oils, holy water, things like that. So I lived my cursillo in high school here in Laredo, Texas. So
what's that? What's cursillo?
Cursillo, it's a cursillo.
Spiritual retreat.
It's a curso. It's a short.
Hey Josh, shut the fuck up.
So it's
Trying to educate your dumbass.
let the man answer. Man.
it's a short course in Christianity, basically.
Okay.
And very awesome retreat, life changing. Josh, do you need more tequila?
I'm good.
He's good. So the devil cannot stand these relics.
Yeah.
So one time in Boston, mind you, after New York City, I went specifically to Boston to work, to get trained, to get exposure to chronic mental health disorders.
Yeah.
Schizophrenia, psychosis, the authentic bipolar personality disorders, people that are stuff that you see on TV, hoarding, and people that are in and out of psychiatric hospitals.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a lady, I remember, addicted to a range of drugs. She was diagnosed by schizophrenia by her psychiatrist, and so was working with her. She was seeing pigs with wings fly around in the room, and her head was just kind of like turning and stuff like that. But there was something very distinct about this patient. And of course, no names mentioned.
Yeah.
At the end, there was just something very distinct. I had this I had this physiological reaction to her. Physiological meaning psychosomatics, like my body. It was just...
Your instinct said, hold on, wait a minute.
My body was talking to me.
Yeah,
There's something very distinct about her.
I know the feeling.
So I had... I have a lot of priest friends. I have a lot of friends that are priests. In every place that I've lived in Catholic homes, and we have priests for dinners all the time and everything. I was buddy with Father Benedict Rochelle in the Bronx, if you know who he is.
No.
And so anyway, so I had a bottle of holy oils in my desk. So I got some, pretended it was like some cream, and in 5 minutes she was going to leave. So I shook her hand. I said, okay, I'll see you later.
Was she? Could she talk? Like,
yeah, she was talking. She can hold a dialogue.
Okay.
And so when I shook her hand, mind you, be mindful that I had these holy oils.
She didn't see you put these oils on.
I mean, she saw me, but she thought it was cream,
okay.
and I was very discreet about it. And when she shook my hand, she basically, that burns.
Did she say that?
She said that burns. And as soon as she said that, I started shitting in my pants.
Literally or just like metaphorically?
No comment. No comment. I was truly scared. That was I think I must have been, I don't know, maybe in my latter 20s, 27, give or take. That was my very, very first experience with some sort of demonic, supernatural possession. And there's absolutely no way she could have known that the oils it could have been essential oils for all she knew. But she said, that burns.
Shit.
She left. I canceled my next patient, and I said the rosary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it was too much. It was too intense.
I was very overwhelmed.
You felt the presence. Let's just say, put it that way. Maybe
I had a physiological reaction to her, and I canceled my next patient, which that's another story. But it was the first encounter with something like that.
And okay, so you had that encounter, which is probably the scariest shit ever, and I would never go outside of my house again. But like, have you ever experienced anything supernatural that's not demonic? Like maybe like, do you believe in like supernaturals, like spirit wise, or you feel some kind of
Like the chupacabras?
No. Like, okay, how can I best describe it? I have dreams sometimes, right? Like I had this dream the other day where I'm in this like house, right? No, I'm in this warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
and in this warehouse, it's like all like there's light, but if you keep going to the warehouse, it's dark. Now, as I kept going towards the dark, I don't know why the fuck I was going towards the dark. I felt there was something there. Like I felt there was an evil thing there
In your dreams?
in my dreams. Yeah. And by the way, I'm a lucid dreamer. I'm lucid as fuck. I know I'm dreaming.
Well, lucid dreams, you know that you have some sort of control in.
Yeah, I do, and I know how to wake up. And I also sometimes I know how to wake up. Not all the time. I haven't perfected it, but when I'm lucid dreaming, sometimes I in the dream I'm like, fuck, I'm dreaming. Like I've done that. I've done that plenty of times in my dreams, and it's like, and I try to wake myself up, right? But the thing I'm trying to get to is that in the dream it's happened a couple of times in a house, in a warehouse or whatever. I get close to something, and I feel like just pure evil. Like I feel like I don't see anything. I just see black, but I guess in my brain in the dream, I see just I can't explain. I see pure evil. I see like a, I don't know, like a monster, like something fucking that's just waiting to fucking get me. And I wake up, right? So what I'm trying to say is, have you ever felt that like outside? Besides that moment, like I don't know, you walk into a house and you're like, oh, there's something about this place. Or you're in the like you bike ride a lot. You're out there in a monte or something. Or
Yeah. I'm a mountain biker.
You're a mountain biker. You feel like a presence, like there's something wrong about this place, or there's something about this place. Have you ever seen a spirit, like stuff like that?
Do you remember the old Memorial Middle School?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So I kind of want to respond to your question in two ways. I mean, obviously,
We got time.
Obviously, there's, some. I want to go into the whole Freudian dream analysis thing about your personal issue, but then, there's the whole, your question about the paranormal. I actually encountered a ghost in Memorial Middle School. I was in Nixon High School. I was dating this girl. Her name was Claudia Villarreal.
You don't have to say.
Anyways, so I was dating this girl.
I can't say other names, but Claudia Villarreal, super okay to do.
She had really nice lips.
All right, man. That's.
Anyways,
all right, Louis C.K.
So we.
Thank you.
Josh is good.
Josh is zipping. He's like, oh, I'm fine.
So,
Memorial
Middle School. Mm-hmm. Her and one of her great friends, Arlene. I had a car. I drove him to Memorial Middle School to drop off a quinceañera invitation to her teacher. So her teacher was.
That's a little weird, but whatever.
Yeah. So her teacher was not there. So they left it was the last day of school. They left the quinceañera invitation on the teacher's desk. They were writing messages to the on the dry erase board, and there was a stool in the middle of the room, and I sat on it. It was one of those stools that just kind of spun. So they were scaring me on the way over there. Yeah, my teacher's classroom. It's supposedly it's haunted, whatever. So I sat in the middle of school, in the middle of the stool. They were writing on the dry erase board, and I was just spinning and observing this room.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anything. So they left. They're like, okay, let's go, Spirit. Oh, Spirit's my nickname in high school. So they're let's go, Spirit. So they leave. I'm walking slowly out. And then I take one last glance at the room. Nothing major. So, whatever. So I walk out and I hear a noise. And I stop and I kind of got freaked out. Again, I'm a high school kid.
Yeah.
So I slowly turn around, and the same stool that I was sitting on, it was just spinning. And it's not like
It wasn't momentum. It wasn't because
it
you
wasn't
got off
momentum. There was no draft that made this stool spin. It was literally spinning very fast. I'm looking at this stool spin very fast. And I just get freaked out, close the door, run on out.
Fuck.
That's the only time I've ever experienced a ghostly experience of any sort.
That's crazy, man. Let's talk about my dream, man. What's going on there, dude?
Well, we'd have to get into your narrative, and I'm not sure if you're willing to go there.
Yeah. I have no listeners. This would be great for the podcast. Please go ahead, dive in.
My initial thoughts just go to do you recall how when we began the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
you're always hyper focused on the future.
Yeah,
Well,
it's true.
you mentioned that, I'm going into this room and it's pretty dark at the end. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just dark.
Mm-hmm.
So my initial thought is, he's just very preoccupied with the future.
Yeah,
Just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
seems like it. Yeah, that makes sense.
So what shoe are you anticipating will drop?
What? Josh is gonna cry, man. Seriously.
Or I think you may cry.
I may cry. I'm getting teary-eyed, if I can be honest with you a little bit. No, I think that's great advice for comedians. It's all gonna be okay. Stop thinking about the next gig. Just be funny and focus on right now.
The
okay?
present.
The present. The
here
present is
now.
very, very. All right, here at Good Set Bro, we like to do word association. We have this thing where we do word association. I say a word, first thing that comes out of your mind. All right. So, are you ready?
Shoot.
Okay. Wood.
Tequila.
Oh, right, 'cause I see where that's coming from. Women.
Tequila.
Come on, man. Okay.
All right, let's start again.
Let's start again. No, but I got to change the words. You fucked this up. Okay. Just don't think about it too much. Just boom. Whatever comes out of your mind, okay? Okay. Love.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Electricity.
Tesla.
Okay. Twinkie.
I have a 1979 Volkswagen Westfalia. The license plate is Twinkie. So if you ever see a 1979, the bottom is this pastel yellow. The top is a stark white. Give me a honk. I'll honk at you back.
Do you plan to take it across America?
So right now, I'm working on the interior of my bus. There's this whole movement across the USA. Actually across the world. It's a van life movement.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So as soon as it's ready, it's 100%. I'm gonna ship it off to Argentina.
Oh shit.
In a bus or in a boat or something.
However you can.
However, snail mail, whatever. And I'll fly over there. I have some last year in 2018 I was in Colombia.
Okay.
And I met this couple in the island of Curacao.
Okay.
And or was it Bonaire? One of those two. Anyways, they're an Argentinian couple, and they're just great. I just love Argentinian culture. I love Argentinian people. The wine is fantastic. Anyway,
Is that where you got the Che? Where's that from?
When I was in New York City, I had really good friends that they were Argentinos. I used to date this one girl. Her name was Pia. She was in Brooklyn. She was Argentina. And so just surrounded myself with Argentinos. I used to live in Spain, and they're kind of, the Argentinos kind of come from directly descendants from that boat.
Yeah.
So Ches, I just use that a lot because it stuck on throughout the years.
Would they say it though? Is that where it comes from?
So
Okay.
Che Guevara Argentino. So
because you use it like bro or dude, right?
So Che is actually a word that they use, like Mexicans, we would use wey, like ¿Qué onda, wey? So ¿Qué onda, Che? So if you're like stuck in the bathroom and like you run out of toilet paper and you want to call your wife, so you could say, like, you can open the door, crack the door, and say, Che, tráeme papel de toilet.
Okay.
So it could be either like hey or like dude or wey.
Che culero.
Che culero, che bolillo. So it's
That's where it comes from.
So hey, or like hey.
Yeah, 'cause I remember when we first started talking, we were text messaging, and you're like Che, and I was like, I don't think he knows my name. Like that's the first thing I thought. I was like, I don't think it's Aaron. It's Aaron.
And then I said Che.
Yeah, again I was like, okay, and I was like, what does that mean, man? And he's like, oh, it's like, hey, man. So yeah, you want to ship it to
Twinkie down to Argentina.
That's the name of the Volkswagen.
That's it's a Texas license plate, and fly down there, spend a couple of days with my friends, and then just grab Twinkie and just travel up north through Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Uruguay.
Is it like a convoy? It's a whole bunch of people like traveling?
No. It's you just go.
It's kind of scary. I mean, Brazil's not in the best shape. It's beautiful. It's not in the best shape. But you're gonna have to pass through Nicaragua and Venezuela, and that shit's not good to do either.
I was in Colombia last year in the autumn of 2018, and so there's a lot of Venezolanos coming in, and can we get into politics a little bit?
Absolutely.
All right. So, maybe I have a little crush on Alexandra. What's her name?
OAC?
Yeah.
or what is it called?
Ocasio Ortiz or something. No, Ocasio.
AOC.
Yeah.
AOC.
So I think she's just a cutie. Puerto Rico's like my second home. I've been there like 10 times, 10, 11 times the past 10 years.
Yeah.
And so
she contradicts herself a lot, though. She's
not
the brightest.
Now, she's just a cutie. But the one thing I admire about her is just her passion for it.
Yeah, I can see that.
The problem with that, with this whole democratic socialism, is I just don't think the people that are all for her and that I speak to and that I really try to empathize with and analyze their thought process, they've never been to a socialist country. Socialism, it's a road that leads to communism. And if you've ever been to a communist country, Cuba, I've been to Cuba, kind of snuck into people's homes against the Cuban government's desires.
What do you mean snuck in? You couldn't go into Cuban homes?
You can't. You literally, if the safe, I've been to the last time I counted, I've been to around the world. I've been to 35, 37 different countries around the world.
Fuck.
In a couple weeks, I'm gonna go to one of my good friends. He's former roommate in Brooklyn, Frenchie. He gets married in Paris. So
oh, nice.
I'm gonna go to Belgium, Luxembourg, a little bit of Germany, Switzerland, and then back to the wedding in Paris. So anyway, so I've been to a couple of communist countries. I've been to a lot of different countries that are bordering communist countries, socialist countries, and the most recent was last year in the autumn of 2018. I was in Colombia, and there's a lot of Venezolanos. A lot of Venezolanos. It's a system. It's an ideology that just does not work.
Yeah. So no Bernie Sanders then.
I mean, there's
because it has been proven like socialism leads to communism.
That's a route. That's a route.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, it's nice in theory, but when it comes to communism, socialism,
doesn't work.
Everything is free except a person.
Yeah.
Free university, free dental care. The one country that the people had the best smiles, the whitest teeth was Cuba. Free dental care, free mental health, But I met a medical doctor, an MD, in Cuba. He was a plumber on the side because he couldn't pay his bills.
Shit.
I had to literally sneak into people's houses to give them clothes.
You know what happened? It's funny you say that. My mom was she was actually on a boat going to Cuba. And they boarded, right? And right there and then, they told the boat, no one can get off. No one can get off. Trump ordered.
That was recently.
That was recent. My mom was on a boat going to Cuba to go visit some friends or whatever. She has some friends in Cuba or whatever. They're like, no one can get off because Cuba, I guess, is sending aid to Venezuela or something like that. So Trump was like, nope, fuck that. You can't. How can you do that? So he stopped Americans from going to Cuba again. Like Cuba kind of sabotaged themselves again.
I don't know. I mean, it's just interesting because I think the USA also sent aid to Venezuela, and they just burned all those fucking trucks. I mean, it's...
False flag.
Pardon?
False flag.
It was a false flag. Do you know what a false flag is?
On the podcast?
No.
I mean, that...
Tell them what
it was a stage event. Like, the aid was an actual aid. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great.
So a false flag is just basically like a redirection. Look over here for nothing, or like something
we're for example, the sinking of the Lusitania.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, touche.
Yeah, so that it was a false flag.
Like, if I may interject, the premise behind doing away with the Venezuelan government is to, insert our puppet in there, because I forgot whoever the fucking president was before the person, that we're trying to insert in there was like democratically elected by the people, right? So they're sovereign. Who are we to say like, hey, no, because you chose a guy that doesn't want to play ball with us, we're gonna destabilize your country or whatever.
Right. Well,
which is my issue with a lot of the people that want to run for candidacy in the election. So
right. So Venezuela, if you look at the list of all these countries around the world globally that have the most oil, Venezuela's at the top.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
I thought it was like Saudi Arabia or something like that.
Venezuela.
Really?
So
one of my coworkers went to 2 years ago, went on a trip to Saudi Arabia, close to the Russian border and stuff like that. And he said that they had so many oil. What are those things that are just constantly pumping oil?
Yeah, the rigs.
Rigs. Okay, that there was one everywhere. Like literally, there was one outside of a McDonald's. And there was like a cage around it.
Yeah.
Like just constantly pumping. Like outside of a McDonald's.
There's some on the south side in some fucking neighborhoods here, like where I used to live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like right across the
street. Yeah, but over there, like it's over exaggerated over there. Like I'm saying, like they'll put it in the middle of it, like a middle of the street kind of thing. And you have to
like I'm saying, like the house, oil rig, cage, house.
Oh shit!
Yeah, gotta love Texas, brother,
for real.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something.
But Venezuela has a lot more oil.
Wow.
They lead the oil. So why are there all these people in Colombia trying to leave Venezuela? Why are they running out of toilet paper and water and things like that? Well, because all the toilet paper costs $100 million.
Yeah.
The whole inflation.
There's people eating out of the garbage can.
Essentially because, again, the whole concept of socialism, communism is that everything is equally distributed.
Yeah.
And, nowadays in the USA, they really do not put it so starkly, but it's basically between the left and the right. One party is, you know what, everybody has to be the same. We want everybody to have the equal results, equal benefits to everybody. The other side is like, well, no, let's just give people the freedom, the power to have equal opportunities to work their way to do whatever they want. Because there's this one cat that I follow, Thomas Sowell. He's this black dude. He basically says, like, we shouldn't give everybody the equal results. We should give everybody the equal opportunity to be rich if they want to start a business if they want to, but we shouldn't guarantee that they'll get accepted to colleges, they'll get
if they don't work for it, basically.
If they don't work for it. I mean, because what if I don't want to go to college? What if I just want to be a mariachi?
Yeah.
A mariachi in a mariachi band.
Yeah.
Which I'm taking lessons, by the way, to be a mariachi.
Wonderful, man. Good. You know how to play guitar, right? A little bit?
I know how to play guitar. I played professionally the double bass with the symphony, the Laredo Philharmonic Orchestra.
Jesus Christ. I don't know why Dos Equis hasn't picked you up as the most interesting man in the world, dude. Oh, right. Funny story. They send me an email.
Dos Equis?
So,
what did they say? Hey, do you know anybody who...
No, I'm saying they send you an email because you're the most interesting man in the world. So check this out. My mom has been to Cuba before. Mm-hmm. When it was like just open, we finally like, okay, U.S., you can come in. And when they started going in, prices started getting up, but the country was making money, correct? So my mom told me that when she did go, that she thought... And my mom, I guess she's at an age, she's like, I just want everything free. Because she told me that, mijo, like, I went, and the people, they literally wake up, eat breakfast, go outside, and just smoke a cigarette, and chill all day long. Because they don't have to worry about almost anything. That's what she said. And she said, she's like, that's the life. They're living the life. And I was like, I don't think you understand, Mom. I don't think you understand what they're going to. Because all she saw was people chilling and drinking because, they were getting aided, obviously, by the country somehow.
Yeah. That's the paradox. Because if there's anything that I'm trying to do with my patients in my private practice, and my biggest critique with the US of A is... it's just go, 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 go. Mm-hmm. We need to be fully present in the here now and mindful. We need to be more simplistic, like these Buddhist monks. And
do you think? Well, once again, that's exactly what you're saying. It's because we live in America that we're not like that.
Exactly. Now, but the problem with Cuba or socialist, communist countries is we have no freedom.
Yeah.
In a sense that el cubano is just chilling out on the maca, drinking their mojitos and smoking their puros, is because they're forced to do that. I'm a big advocate for freedom. And
true freedom.
And AOC, I think she's a cutie. I think she's a hottie. Like to suck face with her, but she's going to take away my freedom, and I have a big problem with that.
I see. Recently
in Laredo, there's this young lawyer. I forget what her name. She's going to run against Henry Cuellar.
Yeah, I saw that.
I believe she has a good heart. I've read several articles on her, but she's going to take away my freedom. I'm not for that, man.
Yeah.
As...
You want to keep what you work for.
It's not so much
Not
that.
okay.
It's so much for, if I want to give my hard-earned money to the nuns in the South Side that take care of the orphans, the nuns over there, headed by Sister Isidra, I'd rather give my money there versus give my money to save the giraffes in some other country that I have nothing to do with.
What's wrong with saving the giraffes, dude?
I love giraffes. So
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you gonna say something, Josh? Okay, go.
So I love giraffes. So I don't like camels.
I love animals. Like I'm a
Do you
big
love camels?
I love all animals. The only animal I don't like is a mosquito.
Okay, let's get.
What's the purpose? What's the purpose
let's
of
get
a
into
mosquito?
this philosophical dialogue about mosquitoes. Why do you think God invented the Christian Judeo God invented the mosquitoes?
I don't know if he did. I think it was just an organism that. Do you want one?
No, I would like to pour you some more.
That's cool. Yeah, but I
tequila.
want to wash it down with a little bit of beer.
That's not beer.
Hey, fuck you, man. Okay, first, everyone gives me shit about Michelob Ultra, and that's bullshit because
Michelob Ultra. I think you should sponsor.
that'd be
this
fucking honestly,
podcast.
Michelob sponsor me, and I always defend Michelob, man.
The official
here-
water of good
Casa
suck my
Azul will
dick,
sponsor
suck my
me.
dick, Josh.
Your
And
wee-wee.
Michelob. I hope they don't sue me. I hope they just Anyways, I bought it. I own this can. I bought it, so fuck it.
It's intellectual property, dude.
Hey, suck my dick. Oh, he's smart. He kept it like that, right? Why didn't you just wrap it in a towel or something? Like, why did you just give it to me like this? You're my producer.
True.
I love your producer shirt.
Yeah, he's cool, man. He's cool. His jeans are too tight.
No. He's a hip dude.
He just hates.
Put the beer here.
Oh, this is hibiscus tea and mango. Do you want to try that?
No, put the beer
It's
here.
too sweet. Don't try
No,
it.
I can't put it there. It's literally product
No,
placement.
I was gonna cover
Shadow it. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
there. 'Cause
So,
it's his beer.
fuck you and fuck you. Listen, I'm 34 years old. I get to decide what beer I want to fucking drink. Do you guys understand that shit? The other, a while back, a girl told me, she's like, "That's a mom beer. That's a mom beer." And I was like, "No, it's just the beer your mom buys me when I fuck her. That's what happens." Yeah, I know. I got it.
It's a fucking mom beer, though.
Hey, fuck you. It's your mom's beer.
My mom passed away, but thanks.
She did?
No. I'll play it.
I was gonna say, how does that make you feel?
I was gonna say, I was like, well, it's because
She bought me his beer.
fuck. What was I gonna say? What were we talking about?
Tequila.
No
Ideology.
ideology.
Political ideology.
So masturbation, it's wrong.
Is it? Hold on, I'm gonna pee. Talk to Josh. Tell Josh why. Josh, you masturbate a lot. Let him know why.
Josh, why do you masturbate?
Mostly because my girlfriend's not around for me to have sex with all the time. So sometimes I'm down to have sex and she's not. So I'm just like, well, I also just have like I don't know, like I feel like I'm almost a little bit too hypersexual, but I recognize that. And in some cases,
What about pornography? What do you think about pornography?
it's fine. I mean, it's a tool more than anything. In my at least the way I see it, I feel that it's a stimulant that you can help to get to where you need to if you want to. But also sometimes I'll just go without like any pornography. You know what I mean? Just like try to use my mind, and I feel like that is a little bit more satisfying. That's just me though. I don't know for other people.
What does your gal think about pornography, masturbation?
We're fairly open with the whole thing, and I mean we incorporate it into our sex lives, like mutual masturbation and stuff like that. So although I'm not, I feel like I'm the more sexually orientated one. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right now. That tequila's got me feeling some type of way, but
It's good tequila,
yeah,
right?
it really is. It's really nice. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm a little bit more sexualized than she is, which is interesting to me in the sense that like that has been the predominant mode in most of my relationships until recently it was flipped on me. I was with this girl that before I was with the girl I'm with right now, where it was the opposite. And for the first time, I felt the perspective of the other person to where like, hey man, how about we just not fuck all the time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I understand the opposite perspective a bit more now. But all in all, though, I feel that she's definitely masturbates less than me. But I don't think that I masturbate like too much, because I regularly have sex and I have that like, you know, that need fulfilled regularly. So
masturbation is cool, man. It makes you think clearer.
True, that true to a certain extent, depending on what you're thinking of.
You know, like because like when I masturbate after I'm done, I'm like, ew, why did I do that? And then I'm like, oh, okay, so like you think a little bit clearer. I like there's this guy named Joe Rogan that says like, or I don't know if it was Joe Rogan. It was someone that said like maybe rape wouldn't exist if someone would just jack off before, and just be like, oh no, I don't need to do that.
Yeah, because you'll be thinking about like, fuck, I want to.
I'm disgusting, and then you just go home and you cry.
Good. Yeah, and cry.
So you think masturbating is disgusting?
No, I think it's amazing, man. I never said it was disgusting. I think it's just we have a pressure valve that we just need to fucking just whack and then go to sleep, man.
Or I mean,
what about nocturnal emission?
Like a wet dream, I guess. I guess it's the equivalent of like your
Well,
body doing
that's
itself.
not my fault, dude. That goes to the same point. Like it's a pressure valve that needs to be fucking expelled somehow. And if we don't do it, our body does it for us. By here, like, dude, your balls hurt. Here's a dream. Take that shit out of there, and then wake up and be embarrassed of yourself.
What if nocturnal emission was nature's or the universe's or God's way of...
Here's a freebie.
This one's on me.
It does.
On the house, motherfucker.
No, but what if it's nature's way of saying what?
The thing is, what happens... Again, we need to look at it from a neurobiological perspective.
Yeah, of course.
So what happens in the brain when I have an orgasm?
Endorphins and serotonin. And,
oxytocin,
yeah,
dopamine, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what are all these neurotransmitters, these hormones? What's the purpose of them? What's the goal of them?
Not feel pain.
Pleasure.
They're bonding hormones. They're bonding hormones. What does that mean? That basically means that they bond you to the person who caused the orgasm. So think of the five senses. Information flows into the mind, into the brain through the five senses. The auditory, the visual, the olfactory, the gustatory, the tactile feeling.
Yeah.
And so if I have an orgasm because, girlfriend, wife, hopefully it's a wife, she stimulates me.
Hopefully it's a wife. Josh.
You're
not doing premaritals, Josh. I mean, you're
like a test drive, you know?
Actually, you are doing premaritals.
Prematerial.
No, premarital.
He's having premaritals.
Copulation.
Relations.
Yeah, you're having premarital relations. You need to have maritals. Josh.
Okay. Okay, so we'll get to the whole cohabitation stuff. Anyway, so when my information enters into my mind, into the brain through the five senses.
Mm-hmm.
So the brain begins to make sense of all that stimuli. And then I have an orgasm. So the brain releases this flow of neurotransmitters, and they're bonding hormones, love glue, if you will. Now,
love what? Love glue?
love glue, if you will. It basically makes
I've called it love glue before.
it basically glues you to your partner.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But what about whores or men who fucking fuck different girls like every week? Do they get glued to? I don't think they get glued. They're more
So
like
They're glued
juice.
to their ego.
right. So, do you have do you have an iPhone?
No.
My work phone's an iPhone.
Your work phone's an iPhone. Okay. So, do you know what a screenshot is?
Yes.
Okay. So you take a picture of something,
Mhm.
and then it saves it. So the brain works in that same way.
Mm.
Anytime we have an orgasm, anytime we release these neurotransmitters, the brain takes this screenshot of the moment.
Oh shit.
It takes 5 screenshots, if you will. Okay. The person that made you have an orgasm, that made you climax, how do they smell? The person that made you, come, what do they look like? What do they sound like?
Mm.
What do they taste like when you're kissing their skin or licking them or whatever? The person that made you have an orgasm, what do they feel like? Their body on top of you or whatever. So the brain takes these screenshots and stores them in our memory. And so it stores those 5 screenshots in your memory.
Do they erase eventually, or
No.
do they stay there subconsciously?
They remain.
Shit.
So
So my girlfriend has all those fucking dudes in her brain, dude. Is that what you're telling me?
Or
Are-
the first.
Are you hearing this, Josh?
Yeah.
Yo, check your girl, dog.
It's
So-
cool. I'm secure about myself. I don't care.
Yeah, no, I'm not, dude. What's up?
but again, it's all these churches, all these people that say, "Oh, you should never have premarital sex or you should never cohabitate." I mean, they can't give you the neurobiological explanation of why you shouldn't have premarital sex, but in essence,
They're going by moral.
no,
not even?
Instinct.
Not screw moral, but I mean blend the morality with the neuroscience of it, which I just explained.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fine. Let's pretend you've had, I don't know, 5 sexual partners in your lifetime, and then you finally meet the guy of your dreams or the girl of your dreams, and you haven't seen the first sexual partner in 10 years. Now you're in Curacao or Aruba or the Jamaica in your honeymoon.
Yeah.
You're having sex with your husband, your wife, and all of a sudden your ex-boyfriend comes up into your mind while you're orgasming.
Shit.
Fuck. Does that mean you still love your ex-boyfriend? No,
No.
you don't. But because you've shared such an intimate act, because the neurotransmitters that were flowing took this mental screenshot, if you will, of those events, you're going to remember it. It's been imprinted and coded in your brain.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
It's a hard pill to swallow, and that's why we shouldn't have premarital sex. Because when you finally get married to the person of your dreams,
Yeah.
you're gonna be fantasizing about your ex-boyfriend in high school from 10 years that you haven't talked to in 20 years.
Yeah. It's a divorce of the bodies.
Now, what does this have to do with masturbation? The same process happens when you masturbate. Your brain takes a screenshot. Who's touching you? Yourself.
Perfect.
What is the person the person that caused this orgasm, what does he smell like? What color do you wear?
Ese Miyake.
You become the
Carolina
fucking
Herrera.
ultimate
Carolina
egocentric.
Herrera. What is this person? How does his voice sound? What is
Like this.
So, or if you're watching pornography, it's most of the time
Yeah.
it's accompanied by masturbation. Well, what is the girl in the computer, the what is that thing called? The tube, the TV.
Yeah.
I haven't watched TV and I don't.
What
have
is the thing called? That's
Yo, what's
how-
that thing called?
The TV.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Dude,
Just wasn't
that's
sure.
how that you don't have a TV in your
I
apartment.
I haven't owned a TV since 2007.
Thank you.
I don't believe in TVs. It's nothing but trash.
But this
But even
is
the
basically a TV. You know that, right? You have a
portable
traveling
TV.
you have a portable and a traveling TV. Do you know that?
I
You follow people.
was
You follow people and
I-
you see their videos and you
Yes.
see that
Well,
you know
I
who AOC is, not because you read it. I can guarantee you that.
she's a cutie.
But you didn't read about AOC. You saw
Well,
her.
The thing is,
He read a description about her,
Bullshit. He did.
and he was like, "She's cute."
she's a cutie, but
Yeah, because you like I said, you saw this. This is basically a portable TV. I
I haven't
not
owned, I haven't
TVs
owned a TV since 2007.
yeah. Have you seen my TV? It's humongous.
It's ginormous.
Yeah, that guy's about to fire right now. It's gonna be amazing.
Is it the main event already?
Yeah, almost.
Fuck.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up soon so we can watch this all together, and see men punching each other. Yeah, you don't like it. We're gonna do this. Have you seen my living room? When he first came into my living room, he was like, "Huh, we okay."
He secretly fantasizes about men on top of him.
I don't know. Whenever
Listen,
I see two guys, lots of muscles, or 22 guys on the field, I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. I just think.
But if it's 22 guys in a bed, you're all about it.
no, I don't. My boat don't flow that way, brother.
No, listen. So we were talking about masturbation. What
It's-
if some of us do it like psychologists? What if some of us jack off, right? And then after that, we just turn off the lights, take about 10 breaths, and then continue.
God damn it.
If your curiosity revolves around whether I masturbate in between patients, the answer is
No,
absolutely
that's
not.
not. That wasn't what I was trying to go with.
Was
It.
the
I'm just
same.
saying. I'm just saying. Some of us can erase what just happened in my restroom. That's all I'm saying. I mean, it's true. I mean, I
Erase.
It seriously. I can. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I still believe it's like a pressure valve. Like, I can masturbate, jack off, and then be like, I'm hungry, and I just cook, and I forget about what just happened.
I think.
I mean, I think that
in-
happens.
with any behavior. There are short-term benefits.
Mm-hmm.
We also have to look at the long-term consequences, whether they're positive or negative. So any behavior has short-term consequences, positive, negative. We also have to be mindful of the long-term benefits
The subconscious benefits.
or the consequences.
The
excuse me,
consequences,
whether
yeah.
they're positive or negative.
Uh-oh. No.
I don't want to hijack the podcast. So I'm not
No,
gonna
no, please,
I'm not
please.
gonna say anything.
No, I want you to, please.
It's
Like,
gonna turn into my podcast. I don't want to.
it's not your podcast.
I know, that's
it's
what I'm
my
saying. I
podcast.
don't want it.
But I want to hear your opinion. We're here.
It's because it's unrelated.
Bottom
completely,
line,
which is why I don't want to.
we shouldn't beat our beef.
Unless you're like trying to create a badass burger, definitely beat it up before.
I just learned about something called a smash burger. You don't know what that is?
Yeah.
Well,
you
smash is
the
a
steak.
term that's could be used for sex.
For
Like, let's-
fucking, yeah.
Let's smash.
Now, is that a subliminal or what's it called?
It's a thing that was
mind
made
edge.
by the '90s babies because we all used to play Smash Brothers.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes.
It's interesting because I have a lot of high schoolers that smash.
Oh, let's Smash, bro. Smash, bro.
Smash Bros.
Super Smash
Mm.
Bros. Boom.
It's disgusting.
Premarital sex. Not okay. Not
Dude.
healthy. Not healthy.
Not healthy. And
Not healthy.
you're coming from. Did you ever have premarital sex?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
You didn't. You waited till you were, whatever. Like you're still playing the field, you know, and you're just doing your thing.
Date to find a mate.
Date to
Date
find
to
a mate,
mate. Let's start a new podcast. Call it that.
or don't be a pussy and smash, bro.
Peer pressure. It's tough.
I love this because it's This is a carnival. I'm a comedian. Like it's I cover a lot of tragic stuff and traumatic events by laughter.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's something that I do. Like something that might be like grotesque or like really out of control for someone, I find humor in it somehow. Is that a coping mechanism?
It is. I'm trying to go into my memory bank. I don't know who coined the phrase "laughter is the best medicine."
Oh, Joker. No, I don't know. I don't know. Laughter is the best medicine. Who coined that phrase? Can you search that up, Josh?
Some fucking cuck. So I googled it. That's what it says.
No, bro. Can you Google that? Who
Your
coined?
Wi-Fi's too shitty. It doesn't work on my laptop. Sorry.
I'll Google it. Laughter is the best medicine, right?
Do we or do we not live in a hologram?
Good question.
How do you define a hologram? Like Keanu Reeves and
No, not necessarily the Matrix, but an amalgamation of electronic signals that is decoded by our senses that then project like an internal image as to
He's done a lot of acid.
Right. Well,
not just that. I'm just inclined to
that's
specific
essentially
worldview.
the mind. The mind is
Correct.
an we have to differentiate the brain and the mind. The brain is the actual organ that's in
the anatomical
signals throughout the
structure that
body.
is in the fucking.
We don't
cranium,
have
yeah.
to remind ourselves our heart to beat. We don't have to remind ourselves to breathe. The brain does it automatically for us.
Bennett Cerf. That's who coined the term laughter is the best medicine. A writer, Bennett
Benet.
Cerf.
Monet. Is it Monet too or what?
It's Bennett.
Benet.
It's French. Is it? I don't know.
So I'm going to a wedding to
Bennett
France.
Cerf.
Are you gonna go to the Louvre? Have you ever been to the Louvre?
Yeah, I've been to the Louvre.
I fucking hate you.
So
But I don't.
I've been in Jamaica. Does that make me kind of cool?
Jamaica's great. I was sitting in the waterfalls.
Bombaclad.
Bung bung.
No, it's bombaclad.
Bung bung clock. Yeah.
Bombaclad, meaning you're an
It's
asshole.
Biakan.
Biakian?
Yeah, man.
Your Biakian, your ass clad, your pussy, your bombaclad, boy.
Bung bung clock.
You don't know me.
Insert Jamaican accent here.
Yo, fucking Jamaica's crazy, man. It's they're
Jamaican me crazy.
Red. What's
You know, I
Red
want.
stripe.
red stripe.
Yo, I shit
Beef
black.
patty.
Oh, gross. I
Not in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I bet you they're over there in Jamaica. It's what's this meat? Man, I know, man. I was like, okay, cool, dude. So I went to Jamaica, and I went to the Bob Marley mausoleum. Right, I went to go smoke a joint right there with Bob Marley, where they buried him and stuff in his house. I was basically in his house. So outside of Bob Marley's little enclosure or whatever, there's people selling weed and whatever. Enclosure is the wrong word. It's his mausoleum. That's what I call it in the beginning enclosure. So there's people selling weed outside, right? And I'm like, all right, cool, man. And I said I had weed at the hotel because as soon as I got to Jamaica, I took a bus all the way to Ocho Rios. I went to Ocho Rios, and we drove over there. And I was the last stop, so they dropped everyone off. And I told the fucking guy, I was like, hey,
I love this story, by the way.
did I tell you?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. Well,
I haven't heard it. It's all good.
so I'm the last one to get dropped off, right? So I'm driving. I was like, hey man, you know, getting any weed? And by the way, when he first picked me up, he was like, yeah, welcome to Jamaica, blah, 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 blah. And then after that, he was like, yeah man, I know where to get weed. Like I was like, okay, just take me. He took me to this fucking ghetto, and then there was this guy doing this because Usain Bolt was a thing, you know. And I got two long big buds, this big, two of them, for like $10. And I was like, thank you. So I had a lot of weed in the fucking thing. And
Did you fucking cut it? And
no, of course not. I just a little bud and another little bud, and just roll that up and left it intact. Why would I want to do that? Not cut it.
Oh, just for convenience.
No, of course not. Leave it the way it is and just take out the little berries that God's giving you. So anyways,
The herb of Christ, man.
yeah. So I had he didn't like that.
It's the burning bush in the
Hey,
Bible.
the burning bush, man.
No?
I'm just saying.
The acacia.
He burned a bush and Moses saw
psychedelics,
things.
DMT.
Okay. So, anyways,
Are you implying that marijuana, THC, was around back in the day?
absolutely.
It's a fucking natural plant in the Indus Valley, which is, I mean, pretty, I guess, far away from where Judaism takes place. But
But yeah, the plant was around. It's also in Asia. I mean,
true.
It actually
It's
the background is in Asian.
I mean,
Anyways, so I didn't take any weed because I was like, no, I want to smoke Bob Marley's weed. And then
was it good though?
It was good. It was like very organic. That's the best way I can describe that weed. It's not dro. It's homegrown organic shit. No seeds, by the way. But it's not like dro. It's like really that old school nice high that you want.
Some very nice like Reginald.
Oh yeah. Like Acapulco Gold,
Some
shit like
popcorn.
that. Yeah, something like that. KB, kind bud. So, I my tour guide, I tell him, hey man, do you know if I can find a weed field somewhere? We just finished a $100 bottle. Cool.
It was very, very nice, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, have some of mine. I got beer. You want some wine? Please, let's trade. Give me that glass. You bring that over here.
I would like for you to have this.
Oh, thanks, dude. That's really nice.
Generous.
Do you want some water?
No. I don't drink water.
What about real water?
In a bit.
Okay.
Yo, fuck y'all guys from Michelob. Anyways, so I told my tour guide, I was like, I want to find a weed field, right? Do you think you can ask me? I was like, look, man, I'm gonna ask the guys in the front, but I'm letting you know right now, it's not part of the tour. If anything happens to you, we're leaving. Like, I'm not gonna fucking wait for you. And by the way, I had like this.
So if someone kidnaps you and
almost. So I had this big like professional selfie stick, like fucking titanium shit. And he's like, all right, he'll take you. You negotiate whatever you want to do. And I was like, look, man, I'll give you $20 if you take me to a weed field. Like, no, man, too low. I was like, I just want to take a video, man. Like, what do you want from me? Like $100. I was like, no, I'm not gonna give you that. I was like, I'll give you 50. Let's meet in the middle. $50. He's like, okay, man, okay. I give him $50. We go up a fucking mountain, walking, mind you, and it's
walking.
Walking, and there's a bunch of little houses on the way. No one speaks English. Like now we're in Patois land.
How many
Patois.
AK-47s have you seen at this point?
Huh?
How many AK-47s?
None.
All right.
So we're walking, and they're yelling stuff in Patois, like, oh, le quoi, boy, whatever the fuck, because they have their own language. A lot of people don't know that shit. So we're walking up, and he's like, no, like, I feel like he was saying, no, we're not robbing him. Like, chill. I feel like he was saying that. So we're walking. I'm like, oh shit, like you're about to die in Jamaica, man. Like that's a true thing that went into my mind. I was like, we're gonna die. And then to calm me down, like to self-soothe, I was like, well, it's gonna be a cool story. You know, how did Aaron die? Like he's like, well, he died in Jamaica,
Walking up a mountain to a marijuana
like in a
field.
weed field, dude. And they were like, badass, dude. Like, so that's what self-soothed me, dude. So we go, and he takes me to this little like house, and there's like a little alleyway. He takes me to the back, and it's like El Dorado, like jingles of fucking
The
plants.
city of gold.
And they all have like names. They're like, this is the AK-47. This is the Mangonani.
That's the only time you
This
saw
is
an AK-47.
yeah. This is Sintamia. Sintamia is whatever Bob Marley.
You know who made that shit, right?
Who?
That guy from Mexico that used to run with. I saw it. It's on Narcos. Fuck, I forgot his name.
Yeah, well, Sintamina is.
Sinsemilla, bro.
I know, but over there they call it Sintamina.
Sinsemilla, bro.
And so we go and we go on this little nice thing. He sings a little song. He's like, we nafibon, ni nafibon, na popom Jamaica. He goes crazy, and I'm like, thank you.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. And then we just leave, and I get back safe. And Junior Dos Santos just lost.
Who was he fighting?
Nangano.
Wait. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. The big black African one.
Ngannou.
Now we were talking about Africans the other day.
Did he just get knocked out? Is that what happened?
Yep.
All right. Of course. Yeah.
We were talking about Africans the other day. We were saying like they're just a whole different other species when it comes to athleticism and how they jump higher. They're like, and then he laughed, but I wasn't joking. I said I think they're built like that because I mean They were. I mean, it's Africa. That's their birthplace. They were running from like ancient times. They were running from lions and shit like that. So I feel like they evolved. See, and he laughed too. He laughed too the other day like that because. I think it's true. I mean, ancient times, there was big fucking scary animals out there, man.
There still is.
And there still is, absolutely, absolutely. But I feel like they were designed, like, look at the Ethiopians. They can outrun a cheetah, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
I read this article once on some medical journal once, and how they basically, Africans or blacks compared to Caucasians, Latinos, I don't know how accurate this is, but they have this one muscle that connects their back to their legs. And which...
Is it their dick?
I wouldn't know, but subjectively, I have no experience here. But basically, what it is, just imagine like a rubber band connecting their back to their legs, which makes them faster, more agile. Yeah. And I read this one book. I forget what the title is. It's basically was a lot about the slavery. The time here in the US.
Donald Trump's New America. Is that what the book was
called?
No,
I don't think. I doubt. No. But basically, what this book said was that there was a lot of breeding. The plantation owners.
Yeah, selective breeding.
Selective breeding.
There was selective breeding. Yeah,
so they would get the strongest black
males
and the strongest black females, and they would make them.
Yeah, of course.
They were breeding them like cattle. Horrible. And so the offspring that they would produce were these, obviously, over several generations. Superhuman. And
Francis Ngannou.
His father was like a diamond mine worker or some shit like that.
I want to ask you. I need to pee again, but to talk to him.
And he was 8 feet tall, and blah blah.
This guy's like 6'6", 265 or something like that.
No,
like 3% body fat, fucking ridiculous shit.
Tall.
Who is 9 feet tall? What?
Negative 28.
He's basically has no skin. He's just muscle on the exterior.
It's just muscle. And so basically that's basic. They were just bred to the Africans. So all this selective breeding was just created these awesome athletes, awesome, vocalists, and I don't know. I believe that's just the universe's, God's way of
the whole practice of it is called eugenics, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It's eugenics. It's Adolf Hitler. He hired a lot of
Aryan race.
The Aryan race. He basically, Adolf Hitler
was his
very smart guy.
Yeah.
Very smart guy, very motivated guy. There's a lot to learn from the guy. Of course, his motivation was purely evil. We have to say that from the get-go. He hired a lot of genetic doctors, and to basically prove his hypotheses that the Aryan, quote unquote,
Atlanteans
race was superior to all other races. I don't know. There's all these.
It's pretty weird.
There's all these riots. There's all these Black Lives Matter movements, All Lives Matter movements. I think everybody is trying to say the same thing. There's this fantastic book called The Fallacy of Race. I think if everybody read this book, the whole concept of racism would just go down the toilet in one night. If everybody in the USA would read this one book, it's called The Fallacy of Race. Racism would be eliminated in a heartbeat. What is race?
It's a classification.
Yeah, it's a classification.
Same.
I was gonna say
an order of organization.
Say more.
Huh?
Say
It's
more.
a classification based on specific phenotype characteristics expressed in a population.
For example.
For example, people in Africa, darker colored skin, I guess they get a lot of sunlight throughout the year. That
So what are
created like
examples
a
of some
mutation.
races?
It's I don't know. I mean, it's difficult for me to explain mostly because of the tequila, honestly, at this point. It was very, very good, very sweet. I'd like to say that. And again, I mean, that's my best definition that I could muster right now is that it's like a classification of a group of a populace that exhibit a specific phenotype expression.
What kind of phenotypes?
I don't know. Give me a geographical area.
China.
What are examples of some races?
The sun's too bright there. I'm kidding.
That's fucking racist, dude.
That was a joke, dude.
That's
Come on,
fucking
it was a
racist,
fucking
dude.
joke. Obviously a
You need
joke.
to be professional here.
Oh my god.
What are
come
some
on.
examples of races?
I don't know. I feel like this is a trick question, so I'm just gonna fucking answer it.
All right.
Black, Asians, whites, and browns. Boom.
Boom.
Hawaiians.
Hey, that's Asian, dude.
No, it's Polynesian.
It's actually Pacific
You see,
Islander.
what Aaron just described is not a race. They're ethnicities.
True story.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm
So-
stupid, man. I'm stupid as
Same,
fuck.
dude. I don't know.
You're smart, man. You're the one going on your doctorates. You're actually a doctor right now. You're a psychologist.
There's a difference between race and ethnicities.
That is correct.
If people would literally just read this one book,
They'll know there's only one race, and it's a human race.
yes,
Exactly. That's what I was
And
trying to get at.
racism
Ultimately, was just
would
like different
be
subsets of
eliminated
humans.
Better than you, dude.
overnight. I mean, I'm just getting chills
Yeah.
with this, and because we're all one.
Correct. We all live on this one same thing.
Who cares if my eyes are squinted? Who cares if I have brown skin? Who cares if I have black skin? Because I'm in fucking Africa and
That's exactly. That's what I was trying to get at.
pigmentation.
Where like
Like,
these.
who cares?
the
Like,
expression-
We're all one race, and
Yeah,
we're
no.
all a family.
Right.
And we got different ethnicities.
Right.
The Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans.
Donald Trump's not my family, dog.
He's your
He
family.
could be.
brother.
Speaking of which, you're a psychologist. You obviously observe people and their behaviors. Donald Trump, what's up with that guy, man?
He's a businessman.
Really? Is that what really?
He's doing a lot
He's
of good.
not dumb. He's not a dumb person. What? No. Okay.
He became the president of the United States.
Let's leave the business out of it.
No. You can't. You can't do that, and that's what a lot of people try to do. Donald Trump. I saw Donald Trump.
Are you a Trump supporter?
I'm a Trump supporter.
Holy shit.
In certain. Yes.
Okay.
and no.
Okay. Wait.
I'm not.
Explain the. That's what I want to know. Explain the to me, because obviously there's some things that he does that makes you go.
Yes.
So I want to talk about that.
He's the only president that doesn't share any lineage with like the people from the UK, the monarchs.
But listen to that comment.
Mhm.
I mean, again, we're all one human race.
True story.
Whether we all share some sort of lineage, like we're all connected to. In July, in a couple weeks, I'm gonna go to Belgium. I'm gonna go to Luxembourg. In my mind, when I interact with these people, the Belgian waffles, like they're my family. That's how I look at the world.
Mm.
And Donald Trump, he's a businessman. He's not a politician. He's a businessman. So I really believe that he's in the, if you see a lot of 1980s interviews that he had, he predicted a lot of the things that are happening now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a businessman. What he wants to do is he wants to make the USA the most powerful country again. Right now, the richest country in the world, at least according the last time I looked, is Australia. They got
Shit.
They got more money than the USA.
We had a lot of debt.
Yeah, that's true.
22
Trillion.
trillion. Give
I
or
don't
take
know. I don't know
ballpark.
who gave the government our credit card, but fuck that.
So
Yeah,
$22 trillion in debt. You know,
That's fucking ridiculous.
and so what? You know, this,
is that even real?
Exactly. Is that a fucking real number? I
We-
don't know.
No, not only is that a real number, like is that a real thing? Like,
we
how
we've borrowed money from China. You know, this whole conflict with China. Now,
But what is money? Like, I mean, how did we do that? Like, oh yeah, give me your yen. Now we're okay. Like, you know.
Well, I mean,
the bottom line is, his,
central bank.
when it comes to finances, when it comes to business, I think Donald Trump's objective is just to make America fiscally very powerful again. Because we're no longer powerful when it comes to a dollar, when it comes to finance.
Yeah. It says right there. It's a note. It's nothing.
A legal tender.
Legal tender. Yeah, that's
So
all it is.
What? His
So
prosody.
vote Bernie Sanders is what he's trying to say.
No, I'm not for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
As cute as AOC is, not
Not
for
for
her
her
either.
What about Tulsi Gabbard?
I'm not familiar with that person.
Oh, you should do some research on that. She's
What
pretty.
do you
she's
think
a
of
pretty good
what do you
candidate.
think of Beto
Is she
O'Rourke?
cutie pie?
She's just attractive, yeah. She's also a veteran.
Oh, I've heard about her.
Beto
Beto.
O'Rourke.
Can suck my dick.
There it is.
Robert O'Rourke.
I am.
That's his name.
I'm a skateboarder too. I could skateboard better than him.
I think you could be the president then, man.
I think you should be president.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Why
No,
wouldn't you
dude,
be
fuck the
president?
president.
Why wouldn't you be president?
Because
Because it's an archaic job description, job title.
I need to pee like a racehorse.
Hey,
Cool.
but okay. Well, let's wrap this up
Yeah.
because it's usually an hour podcast, but honestly, you
And a president never pees.
let me tell you something.
That's true.
The good said the good said bro
Just ask Kim
podcast. The good said bro podcast
Drinks
is
tequila.
just starting, and let me tell you right
Drinks
now,
tequila.
this has been one of my favorite episodes, out of all the 3 that I've done so far, man.
I had to just shut up the whole time, but whenever you come back from your trip, let's link up and do it like a Aliens on the Border episode. If
A
you're
what?
down.
Yeah.
An episode for my podcast.
Dude, come on, man, you can do that on my podcast, bro.
It could be a swap cast, dude. It doesn't matter.
I don't know what that is.
We just both publish it. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
So yeah, I hope you come back, man, and do my podcast again, and we can talk about newer shit. You know, I think I can keep talking to you, but you have things to do. I know my phone's been vibrating this whole time. So thank you for being here. Honestly, Dr. Galvan Rodriguez.
Not a doctor yet.
You're,
Will be.
you're a doctor to me. You're a psychologist. Isn't that technically already a doctor?
Psychotherapist.
Isn't that already a doctor? Like if you're a psychotherapist already?
Not necessarily.
Really?
He's a licensed professional.
I'm a licensed clinical professional.
You're a doctor in my heart. Do you know that?
What about the tequila?
Oh,
It
yo,
was
once again,
amazing.
shout out to Clase Azul. Thank you for the wonderful tequila that he
It was
bought.
very, very good.
If you want to go ahead and send more, that'd be great. The podcast is gonna blow up pretty soon.
Very soon.
So once again, thank you, brother. Thank you, and I'm sorry about the internet because we share internet.
I bum off his internet.
No, we pay together.
We pay
we
together.
pay
There you
together.
go.
Socialism.
community.
So what?
Right.
Socialism.
There you have it.
So thank you, man, and good set, bro. What we do here is we thumb fist, put your fist up, and just. All right, peace.
Peace.